right. Shabbat Shalom. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another Shabbat lesson. But before I get started, as always, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and whom I learned this truth from. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. Shabbat Shalom. And I'm going to just get straight into it with this Shabbat lesson, starting off with a precept we all should know by heart by now. This is Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? It's a point blank period. The earth right now and dominion over it has been given into the hands of the wicked. And who are the wicked according to the scriptures? Well, all we got to do is go to Malachi chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, and the biblical Edomites are known today as these so-called white people, these Americans, British, Europeans, Russians, South Afrikaners, Australians, New Zealanders, and the 1948ers over in the Holy Land right now, calling themselves the true children of the Most High. Those are the biblical Edomites today. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And that happened when they came into the little season of their final rulership, which began with the Renaissance or the rebirth. But we will return and build the desolate places. Coming out of being an obscure people, coming out of being under the subjection of the Southern Kingdom when they ruled Europe as the Moors and the other monarchs and kings and queens and all that during the Dark Ages, coming back into power and then colonizing the planet and replacing the dark Negro images of Europe with images of so-called white people, as it said back in Job chapter 9, verse 24, and covered the faces of the judges thereof. And then also with that Renaissance art, they made the Most High and his son, the angels and the children of Israel look like so-called white people or Edomites, when we know that the true children of Israel are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today. And again, those images in Europe of the kings and the queens and the knights and all those characters that are Edomites in these historical drama movies and in this iconoclastic art that they put up were originally a Negroid, dark-skinned looking people. And the Son of the Most High, as well as the Most High himself and the angels, have the appearance of dark-skinned Negroes, with the woolly beards and afros, white woolly beards and afros. But back in Malachi 1 verse 4, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. So point blank period. The Edomites in the scriptures are known as the border of wickedness, meaning wherever they set up their border, wickedness follows. And as it said in Job chapter 9, verse 24, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. So this planet is engulfed in wickedness, chaos, and mayhem. Hence, you see the state that the world's in right now, with people depressed, on antidepressants, drug addicts, alcoholics, feminism running amok, the alphabet group beginning with LG running amok, chemtrails in the sky, pollution getting poured into the oceans, lands getting strip mined for their resources, animals getting hunted to extinction, GMOs and cell and Wi-Fi radiation giving people cancer, making them infertile. The list goes on and on. As it says in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. But that's another topic for itself. I'm just hearkening in on the point that the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, the Edomites. So we know who's currently in control of the planet right now, according to the scriptures and what their biblical identity is. And it also said in the scriptures that in the last days that the Edomites would be the ones that would be in rulership before the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven, the righteous being authority, the children of Israel in rulership. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 6. Let me see. I'll start at verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, or an age, this current age of the rulership of the heathen nations. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, the next age to come, which will last for eternity, the kingdom of heaven under the children of Israel, where the laws, statutes, and commandments are going to go forth on the planet Earth, and the world is going to be at peace. But I opened up the video with all these precepts to show that, again, the Edomites are the wicked, that the earth has been given into the hands of, to preface an article I read a couple of days ago on RT.com, which just further goes to show that the biblical Edomites are indeed these so-called white people out here, and they are the ones that are in rulership right now, the wicked that whom the earth has been given into the hands of. But the title of the article on RT.com is Secret Societies, Harmless Members Only Club, or Dire Threats to Democracy. And I'll show the title in case anybody wants to use this article in a lesson, or, just have it in your arsenal. But again, secret societies, harmless members only clubs, or dire threats to democracy. And in this article, all the secret societies and organizations that they're going to talk about, when you look them up, who's the face of them? So-called white people, Edomites. And we know that these organizations, as they're going to talk about in here, as well as these the elites behind the scenes, such as the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Massimos, the Merovingians, the Cargiles, the Morgans, the Aldriches, they're all Edomites as well. A curious feature of our modern times is the number of secret societies operating in our midst, setting the global agenda behind closed doors. And with articles like this coming out, it's just a further indicator to show that Esau has been exposed and we're living at the end of his rulership. Before I get into this article, I'm going to get into a few more precepts. This is Psalms chapter 64, verse 8. So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And the author of that article on RT is an Edomite. So you got Edomites exposing other Edomites out here in their dirty dealings, because the average everyday Edomite out here is waking up to the fact that their own rulers have lied to them. They have them in a trick bag, and they're going to throw them under the bus, and they've been throwing them under the bus to establish their NW0, that GREATRESET, the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And a lot of these Edomites are pissed off about it. They thought that they were, sovereign in their countries, and in the European countries, in the UK, and especially in America. We got the Constitution, we got democracy and all that. When all this time, it's all been a false facade set up to use you Edomites as useful tools, useful idiots to push forward their agenda. And once they've accomplished those goals, they throw you under the bus like they throw all these other nations of people under the bus. And again, that's what's got these Edomites out here exposing what their Edomite brothers and sisters are doing behind the scenes, the power structures that have the Edomites in power, exposing the secret societies and the lies and the ill wills and intentions and conspiracies that they push out here, etc., etc. And as it says in Mark chapter 3, verse 24, I'm going to read verse 24 to 25, and it's in red letters. So it's Yahushai Hamashiach, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus Christ speaking. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And we can clearly see that the kingdom of the Edomites is divided globally. You've got these European Edomites angry at the American Edomites for constantly meddling in their affairs. You've got the American Edomites against the Russian Edomites. They're just divided at every level. And as I said, if a kingdom be divided, that kingdom cannot stand. We're living in the last seconds, the twilight hours of the rulership of these Edomites globally. Hey, for Esau is the end of the world, the end of this current age, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Esau is about to be taken out of power, and then the rightful rulers, the rightful heirs to the kingdom are going to be set in power. The children of Israel ruling in the kingdom of heaven, beginning with the elect. One more precept before we get into this article. Salakia. I know what chapter it's in. Oh, here it is. This is Jeremiah 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, and I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. And the Most High has made Esau bare, beginning with the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers that come in the spirit of GMS, going out onto the highways and byways and hedges preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this online, breaking down the scriptures, revealing the man of sin, the son of perdition, as it says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. These who the wicked is according to the Bible, who the so-called white people are according to the Bible, the Edomites, and that they're the ones in rulership causing all of these wicked things to take place. One way to know that, hey, Esau's been laid bare is go to Google Images right now and put in Esau or Edomite in the search engine, and what's going to come up? Images of so-called white people. And 10 years ago, if you would have done that, shit, who knows what would have came up? Maybe the Planet of the Apes or some shit like that. But hey, it's common knowledge who these Edomites are out here now. And you can just go to I've noticed this a lot. When you go to comment sections on particular YouTube videos and even on World Star Hip Hop, you'll see Jake's in there throwing references to Esau, saying that they're cavemen, that they're going into slavery, all that. It's common knowledge now. And then on the other hand, you've got Esau's own tongue falling upon him with even his own people, maybe not saying that they're the Edomites, but exposing that, hey, this whole society we thought that was set up for democracy and freedom is really a lie and a sham set up by these secret societies to push forward their agendas, and we've been used as patsies. So Esau's getting exposed on all levels, spiritually and carnally, and the only thing to come next is him being taken out of power and going into slavery. But without further ado, let's get into this article. Again, secret societies, harmless members-only clubs, or dire threats to democracy. A curious feature of our modern times is the number of secret societies operating in our midst, setting the global agenda behind closed doors. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And you got that classic image right there of the all-seeing eye in the pyramid. And that's exactly what's on the back of the $1 bill, which is the currency of the United States of America. And what nation of people runs the United States of America? So-called white people, Edomites, the wicked. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. And this was a quote from John F. Kennedy on April 27th of 1961. That was another example of them making their own tongues fall upon themselves, because John F. Kennedy tried to fight against the system, and look what happened to him. His own people, they put a bullet, gave him a blowhole in his forehead. They assassinated him. Long before the fiction writer Dan Brown arrived on the literary scene with his stories of esoterica, people have been intrigued with the idea of secret societies working in the shadows, carrying out evil plots against them. On this score, it would be hard to beat the Freemasons, and the Founding Fathers were Freemasons. The Founding Fathers were Edomites. Here's a group of characters that has piqued the imaginations of men throughout the centuries. Back in 1798, John Robison, a professor of natural philosophy and secretary to the Royal Secretary of Edinburgh, published a book that made a big splash throughout Europe. The publication carried the lengthy title, Proofs of a Conspiracy Against All the Religions and Governments of Europe, carried on in the secret meetings of Freemasons, Illuminati, and reading societies. Had John Robison attempted to publish such a book in our day, he would have been quickly written off as a sea piracy theorist nut job along the lines of Alex Jones. But in 1798, the book was taken quite seriously because, of course, people were much more intelligent back then. A lot of people kept up with the political affairs and what was going on. Hence why books like that came out, and they were very popular at the time. Back then, people understood what a conspiracy is, unlike these retards out here today that think that anything that you tell them that doesn't gel with their worldview, which is the mainstream narrative, oh, you're a nut job, you wear a tinfoil hat. And really, let's just get the definition of a sea piracy real quick to see what it is. Ooh, ooh, a secret plan, secret societies, a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. That's exactly what we're getting into with this article. These secret societies of Edomites working behind the scenes to bring about their NW0, their GR, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which, hey, it's definitely doesn't look good or beneficial to the people. And you will own nothing, and you will be happy, and you're gonna love eating the bugs. And remember what it said on the Georgia Guidestones. Let's get that. Some of the tenets that were on them before they were destroyed. And regardless of the the whoever took down the Georgia Guidestones, or how they were taken down or whatever, in the spirit, that's just an indicator that the Most High is about to take Esau out of rulership and throw his NW0 into the trash can. Let's look up some of the commandments and see if it sounds like a secret plan to do things harmful and unlawful. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. And there are around, I think, 7.8 billion people on the planet right now. So in order to get it down to 500 million, a lot of people are going to have to go. So that sounds like something harmful to humanity. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. unite humanity with a living new language, rule, passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. But was it saying Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2, when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court, a one world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Hey, be not a cancer on the earth. You had one of those Edomite British royals say that. Let me see if I can find that quote. All right, here it is. This was a quote from Prince Philip. In the event that I am reincarnated, I would like to return as a deadly virus to contribute something to solving overpopulation. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. And in the description part, the inscriptions dealt with four main themes: governance and the establishment of a world government, population and reproduction control, the environment and humankind's relationship and spirituality, a world government, a one world order, the GR, the Fourth Industrial Revolution. You will own nothing and you will be happy. And remember, the definition of a sea piracy is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. Robison himself, a Mason, attempted to prove that not only the French Revolution, but many other historic events of the day were the result of the secret fraternities' machinations. And when you really scrutinize a lot of different events that have taken place in human history, and you'll see that these societies were behind it. The Rothschilds had their fingers in it, and these other bloodline families. An example I'll give is the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which it's now well-known fact. You can go look it up. Look up the Gulf of Tonkin incident. It was what spurred the United States of America of getting involved in the Vietnam War. And if I remember how the events took place in the Gulf of Tonkin, you had some U.S. Navy ships, and they said the NVA, some forces of the North Vietnamese military, rode up on some boats and planted some mines on them and sunk the ships, or they shot at them. They did something to mess with those Navy ships, and they said, look, North Vietnam has declared war on the U.S. Let's get involved in it. But now, when you go and look it up, it'll literally say that that was an orchestrated event to justify the United States of America getting involved in the Vietnam War. And I even heard somewhere that the 1948ers, hey, they were the ones that actually were on those little boats that sunk those Navy ships. It wasn't it wasn't Charlie, which was a nickname or derogatory term they gave to the Vietnamese in the Vietnam War. I have seen this association exerting itself zealously and systematically till it has become almost irresistible, and I have seen that the most active leaders in the French Revolution were members of this association and conducted their first movements according to its principles and by means of its instructions and assistance, the formerly requested and obtained. And lastly, I have seen that this association still exists, still works in secret, and that not only several appearances among ourselves show that its emissaries are endeavoring to propagate their detestable doctrines amongst us. Aside from the question of whether Robeson was correct in his accusation, is an equally important one. If the Freemasons are really up to no good, are they continuing with their shenanigans today? Hey, remember, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, and the kingdom of heaven hasn't been established yet. So who's ruling right now? Esau, the Edomites. For Esau is the end of the world. A lot of people believe they are, and many are speaking out with revelations of various levels of believability. Many are dismissed as sea theorists, which in turn reinforces the belief of many others in the secret society's willingness to throttle the truth. Former singer-songwriter and winner of the X Factor Australia, Adeline Childs, for example, shared a 5-hour video where he proclaims that nearly every Western institution has been infiltrated by the Freemasons to the point that it is nearly impossible to rise to high office from the world of entertainment to politics and everything in between without the silent nod of this international fraternity. That video has been viewed nearly 4 million times. And I think his name was Tex Mars. Let me look it up. Yeah, there's a book named Codex Magica by an Edomite named Tex Mars, and he goes into all the different little hand signals and signs that these people in entertainment and in politics and in any major part of society use. The that you know foot placements, the all that stuff. He shows those what the origins of those signs are. That goes back to a worshiping these old deities and religions, ultimately the spiritual demon Satan, and that they're used by these different people in power to communicate things. If you notice in a lot of those old paintings of, like, say, Stalin or Napoleon, even George Washington, they have their hand in their coat like that. You see people doing that, just all these different signs. Hey, that's how they talk and communicate to each other. And it even talks about that in the scriptures. This is Proverbs chapter 6, verse 12. A naughty person, a wicked man, and who are the wicked according to the scriptures, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes. He speaketh with his feet. Think about how the Masons, to without saying it verbally, but to show that they're a Mason, to try to see if there are any other Masons in the room, they'll put the heels of their feet together in a 90-degree angle. He teacheth with his fingers. Again, boop, boop, the different hand signs they do. I'll read it again. A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, and he teacheth with his fingers. Where was I? Former singer-songwriter and winner of the X Factor Australia, Adeline Childs, for example, shared a 5-hour video where he proclaims that nearly every Western institution has been infiltrated by the Freemasons to the point where it is nearly impossible to rise to high office from the world of entertainment to politics and everything in between without the silent nod of this international fraternity. That video has been viewed nearly 4 million times. While it may be easy to laugh off such outlandish claims based on the Illuminati and other such groups, there are other societies that make no secret about their secrecy and have a much more tangible claim to controlling the world. And the Illuminati just simply means the enlightened ones, the light bringers, the light bearers. And what's another name for that? Lucifer. They call themselves Luciferians, which again, Lucifer just simply means a light bearer, bringer of light. The elect, the elect of the nation of Israel, the 144,000 of the elect, the prophets of the Lord, they're Illuminati, they're light bringers, they're Luciferian on the right hand side, because we're bringing the light of the scriptures and the understanding of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. But real quick, I'm going to go to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weakest the nations? And Lucifer fallen from heaven isn't talking about the spiritual demon Satan, who had his war with the Most High and he fell, and the fallen angels. That's just Saturday morning cartoon Roman Catholicism nonsense. Read Job chapter 1 and Job chapter 2 to see that Satan is a son of God as well. He's an angel. He's the top angel on the left-handed side of the Most High, and he doesn't do anything without the Most High's go-ahead to do so. And as we know, the Most High is in control of all the good and the evil out here. There's no such thing as free will. Not for us, not even for the angels. And fallen from heaven is these Edomites falling out of their rulership, because in the scriptures, heaven and hell can be symbolic for a condition. You're in your heavens when you're in power on top, and you're in your hell when you're at the bottom, when you're a second-class citizen, a slave, which is where the children of Israel are right now. But when the kingdom of heaven is established, there's going to be a role reversal. The children of Israel are going to be in their heavens, ruling in the kingdom of heaven, and Salakia, and you heathens, beginning with you Edomites, are going to be in your hell, serving 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery for the first 1,000 years in the kingdom of heaven, building it up. But the other heathen nations are going to be allowed to go back to their lands and live at peace. Hey, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, though they're still going to be under our subjection, under the subjection of the laws, statutes, and commandments. And if they get out of line, hey, they're going to be punished accordingly. But as for you Edomites, after that first 1,000 years, every Edomite man, woman, child, young, and old is going to be gathered up and permanently culled from this planet with fire. Just read Obadiah chapter 1, verse 18. But let's go into that word Lucifer in the Strongs. It's H1966. Helele. Lucifer equals light bearer, the Illuminati, the illuminated ones, shining one, morning star, Lucifer, of the king of Babylon, and Satan, figuratively, Hallel, describing the king of Babylon. And I'll put that in there so you know I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. And what is Babylon the Great? That virgin daughter of Babylon, mystery Babylon, according to the scriptures, the United States of America. And again, what nation of people rules the United States? Edomites. The king of Babylon is ultimately the elites that pull the strings of America, like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and all them who are of these secret societies and call themselves the enlightened ones. So we see who Lucifer is in the scriptures. And Satan just means adversary, which these Edomites are the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. They're adversaries to the Most High and to the children of Israel, and damn sure to the prophets. That's why they're coming with this demonization campaign to take us off the internet and take the men of the Lord off the highways and byways. But back to this article. While it may be easy to laugh off such outlandish claims based on the Illuminati and other such groups, there are other societies that make no secret about their secrecy and have a much more tangible claim to controlling the world. The WEF, the World Economic Forum. If there were a reigning king of secret societies today, the title would undoubtedly go to the World Economic Forum, founded in 1971 by the German engineer and economist Klaus Tissue Schwab, the foundation which brings together the top 1,000 most powerful corporations in the world, views its mission as improving the state of the world by engaging businesses, political, academic, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industrial agendas. You will own nothing and be happy. You will enjoy eating the bugs. Democratic procedure doesn't seem to have a place in this formula. As the author and social critic Nick Buxton described the annual confab held in the mountains of Davos, Switzerland, this unaccountable, invitation-only gathering is increasingly where global decisions are being taken, and moreover is becoming the default form of global governance. The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. Schwab has gone on record as saying that the sovereign state has become obsolete, and that in order to fill the power void, there needs to be a global issue alliance and one world government, apparently with himself at the helm. Not only does Davos serve as an elitist cocktail party for improving the state of the world, far from the prying eyes of humanity, it also works. Slovakia. Mouth getting a little dry. Not only does Davos serve as an elitist cocktail party for improving the state of the world, far from the prying eyes of humanity, it also works to penetrate governments around the world with their self-taught protege. From James Melville's Twitter page, so we penetrate the cabinets. Here is K. Tissue Schwab in 2017 discussing how the WEF have penetrated governments with its young global leaders by Justin Trudeau. And there's actually a clip here. Let's play it. Let's see what Dr. Evil has to say.
And I have to say, when I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now. I'm with the president, with a young global leader. But what is important for me...
Remember earlier in this article, that guy Robeson, who published that book in 1798, said a lot of the leaders of the French Revolution had ties back to secret societies like the Masons. And just as Dr. E said, a lot of these global leaders in these different countries were proteges, young global leaders of the WEF. A lot of these major events taking place in the world aren't just happening naturally. They're happening to fulfill goals in an agenda. And again, you literally saw the man say it in that clip. What we are really proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Tissue Schwab boasted back in 2017, who make it possible for us to penetrate the cabinets of governments around the world. The Davos leader then provided an example, saying he had attended a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I saw that half of his cabinet, or even more, are from the Young Global Leaders program of the WEF. It does not require much imagination for regular folks, never mind the sea theorists, to find something nefarious about the most powerful people on the planet penetrating governments with their specially trained representatives. And that's exactly what happened with the introduction of the C-19 situation. Many people saw it as a fabricated emergency to not only deprive millions of people of their livelihood. Hey, I'm simply reading from this article, no medical misinformation, and I'm not a licensed or trained doctor, but to further enrich the very individuals who make up the ranks of the Davos group. The forced lockdowns on people and private businesses caused one of the largest transfers of wealth in human history, as only the very largest companies could survive under such conditions. There were other reasons to be suspicious. In October 2019, the WEF, together with Johns Hopkins University and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, held a tabletop seminar entitled Event 201 that described what would happen in the event of a global situation. 3 months later, everything that the simulation described, from the lockdown of entire countries to businesses being forced to close down, came to pass with the arrival of the C-19 situation. Of course, this is not to say that K. Tissue Swab and the Davos elite took advantage of a deadly situation to enrich themselves, but many people believe just that, or are at least suspicious about a secretive organization pushing for a great reset. These two words have become the trigger word for many, while the WEF presented them as a benevolent post-C-19 economic recovery plan. Detractors pointed to a 2016 video released by the forum as a prediction of the future and featuring the ominous words, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." The plan they claim is to enact a new global world order, the Skull and Bones. In a nondescript building on the campus of Yale University is the home of Skull and Bones, a secretive fraternity that first appeared on the scene in 1832. Women were not granted membership into the Skull and Bones until 1992. Skull and Bones, which is known as the Order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death, is notoriously selective in determining who can become a so-called bonesman. The society selects new members among students every spring as part of its so-called tap day, when just 15 seniors are invited. Despite its intense inclusivity, many members have ascended after graduation to positions of prominence in the world of intelligence, business, and government. 3 of them, William Howard Taft, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush, went on to become U.S. presidents. This was the cause of an awkward moment in the 2004 United States presidential election between George W. Bush and John Kerry, both members of the Skull and Bones. The late NBC journalist Tim Russert confronted both men as to their membership in the organization and what that means for America. Bush just chuckled and said, "It is so secret that we can't talk about it." Kerry responded almost the same, saying he could not speak about his membership because it's a secret. And with that, the American people were forced to choose between 2 men from opposite sides of the particular spectrum who shared secrets the voter would never know about. And remember, presidents aren't elected, they're selected. The Bilderberg. This group got its name from the Bilderberg Hotel, located in Oosterbeek, Netherlands, where the Bilderbergs had their first meeting in May 1954. But unlike Skull and Bones, Bilderberg is very much global in scope. In fact, it is so global that one of the theories it must contend with is that it is trying to create a one-world government. Dennis Healy, one of the original founders of the group, lent credence to that theory when he told a journalist, "To say we are striving for a one-world government is exaggerated, but not wholly unfair. Those of us in Bilderberg felt we could go on forever, fighting one another for nothing, and killing people and rendering millions homeless. So we felt that a single community through the world would be a good thing. The invitees tend to hail from a narrow spectrum of occupations: CEOs, finance ministers, and heads of state. For the one or two journalists who receive an invitation, the privilege is largely symbolic, since they are not permitted to write about what they see and hear. Bilderberg releases an annual list of those who will attend and the subjects they'll discuss, but beyond that, little leaves the walls of the hotel. So with this article, but hey, we can clearly see who runs the world, and it's not girls, according to Beyonce. It's Edomites, the wicked whom the earth has been given into the hands of. Now I'm gonna close it out in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Speaking of these Edomites, as it says in Psalms chapter 58, verse 3, the wicked are estranged from the womb. Hey, they're bad to the bone, bonesmen from the womb. The Most High created them to have that wicked spirit and just to be the wicked. And as it says in Ecclesiastes, who can make that straight which the Most High has made crooked? These Edomites were created to be everything contrary to righteousness, contrary to the Most High and the laws, statutes, and commandments. But the just shall live by his faith. Hey, the righteous, who when they're back in authority, the people are going to rejoice. Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine. And that isn't talking about a bottle of Merlot or Cabernet. That's talking about philosophies out here that he gets these people drunk off of. Feminism, democracy, capitalism, socialism, communism, which who started all these different movements, Edomites, the alphabet group, etc., etc. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. The United States of America, for instance, having military bases all across the country, these Edomites being in control of all the major resource trades out here. Hey, as one of his blessings in Genesis chapter 27 was that he would receive the fatness of the earth, hey, all the resources, the goodly places, and the dew of heaven from above. He enlargeth his desire as hell and as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people, to put him under what? A one world rule, a one currency, one religion, government, etc., etc. Hey, so with this Shabbat lesson, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Hey, just keep strong. As we can clearly see, hey, the wicked is being exposed, and we're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shabbat Shalom.